Alright, I think mic's on. Alright, I think it's the right one too. Um, we're just gonna turn it down because it seems like there's a little bit of noise going. But I am going to pull this up onto YouTube. Alright, so the stream is up. Alright, yeah, y'all can't hear it. Alright, cool. Alright, Invisalign in, baby. Woo. Okay, so the chat's pulled up. So I do have one. Um, 3x3. What if I add something? What if I put... Alright, I'm finishing up the bingo. God, what else could there be? Mm, I don't even know, dude. I don't even know. I don't even know. Damn, bro. What the fuck? So here we can go bingo here. Yeah, all right. So here's what I got right now. Oh shoot. Okay. All right. Here's what I got. Biden makes a good point. Trump makes a good point. Biden makes a bad point. Trump makes a bad point. Come on. The mute stopped working. Although actually that's okay. Um, president gets bleeped because it's on like a delay, so they can bleep someone. The pre-space is Biden stutters badly. Trump yells over Biden like he physically yells over Biden. Both sides agree on a question. That's a crazy one. Is my green screen bad? It's really bad. Trump goes off topic. That could also be the pre-space. Trump says something racist. Biden says something homophobic. What else could we do? What else could we do? Any slur gets said. Now this one will take some detective work, but I feel like we'll be able to figure out if a slur gets said. Uh, what else could there be, dude? Trump leaves, or no, dude, because that's just like not gonna happen. All right, you know what? This is good. It'll be a 3x3. 8 of those, like 14. All right, so we get 30 for free. Um, oh, oh, hey, isn't that great? Isn't that great? All right, face cam only. Uh, edit video. Bingo. There we go. All right, save, and then we're gonna go to the bingo screen. We're gonna make sure it works. Okay, it works. It's working. Let's go. And then we're going to put text on the screen, I think. This text, there we go. Font, text. bingo link in. Holy crap, I said description correctly. What plot should we do? Let's do Verdana. Ooh, that is. Alright. Oh, okay, there we go. There we go. It's like I've never done this before. Alright, bingo link in description. Okay. There we go. Like this, and actually, wait. Center. Yep, alright, there we go. Alright, bingo link in description. So yeah, alright. Shoot, man. 15 till. Let me pull up the stream. Actually, we're gonna go Basecamp only here for a second, so I can. The right one, I think it is. Okay. Go there. Desktop audio is muted. Thankfully. Alright. We got 14 till. What the frick? In Atlanta? Damn. Alright, I'm muting this shit. So we got 13 till. Okay, let's go through my game plan. I think this one could happen. I think Trump could make a good point. It might be on accident, though. Both sides agree on a question. I think Israel-Palestine, because that is going to get brought up. And I think both of them will be like, we need to give more to Israel, actually. Trump goes off topic. That's basically a free space. Trump physically yells over Biden to avoid the mute. I could see it happening. But does he have enough power in his voice at such an old age? Who knows? Can I do that? No, I can't. Damn, can I do... What? Ooh, can I get away with that? No, I can't. Damn. Okay. Here, this can just hang out, I guess. Yeah, I can just hang out. Actually, wait, can it? What does that look like? It looks dumb. It's fine, no one's chatting anyway. Oh, ha, ha. No. Alright. Trump yells over Biden physically. Who knows? Biden stutters badly. That's a free spot. Biden makes bad point. Oh no. Mute stop working. Trump makes bad point. Biden makes bad point. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. So I think everyone will have the same one of these, but dealdash.com has an ad in 2024. Damn. Damn. Alright, we're going Basecamp only. Dealdash.com. Alright, what my username? Chuck Grassley 30. Grassley 30. All right, they're talking on CNN right now. Oh my God, no. Check out with PayPal. Okay. Oh, I totally forgot about Russia, Ukraine. Oh, damn. Okay. Play the tutorial option. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck is this, dude? DealDash.com. What the fuck? I'm winning. Oh, oh! Oh. BidBuddy, your automatic bidding tool. This is insane. So it's not really like, oh, I got it for $23. No, yeah, I used all 10 bids. You can get bids. Oh my God. No new bidders. That's not an Xbox. Dude, I want that so bad. All right. God, man, CNN's a little biased. Oh yeah, I need to get a refund on my TikTok purchase. I. Oh yeah, I kind of need to. Oh yeah. Join the. How do I link? Oh yeah. Okay. Rule and Ur- Rule and Urban are going different directions politically. I fucking hate. I got this feeling. All right. God damn, bro, they are yapping. All right. Let's see what's on Deal Dash auctions. My dashboard. I have 480 bids. god. That's insane. Who the hell is spending that much money on bids, bro? No bids placed. Oh my god. I could have gotten 100 bids for one. I don't want that. $10 Domino's gift card digital, 20 bids. Boom. Give me that 950 bids. Place 200 bids in fashion, health, and beauty category options. You get 2 hours added to your time as high. This is a diabolical website. Oh, you bid to spend money. Oh, okay. I'm getting it now. I think I'm getting it now. You bid to spend money. Alright. I get it. I get it. This is extremely diabolical. I think I'm just going to try to run up the score on everyone. Buy it now for 450. Buy it for 600. Buy it now for 215. Okay. But like none of the I fell for it. I'm falling for dealdash.com. Strap on? What the fuck are they talking about, dude? This is diabolical. $10 Burger King gift card plus 20 bids. Oh, I'm falling hard for Deal Dash. Okay, no more. No more Deal Dash. No, I'm closing the tab. I'm closing the tab. They're comparing us to third world countries. This is tragic. All right, 2.5 minutes. Let's go. Can you see? It's a Call of Duty Vanguard sweatshirt. It's why are there nine? One, two, three, four. Wait, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. There are 9 motherfuckers in this little right thing right here, man. It is crazy. he's just like everyone here's just talking, man. They don't know anything. I'm being radicalized against political discussions. Sad, sad. All right, the debate has started my time, but it's also on a delay. So, all right, let's watch this shit. Debate's about to start. Ooh, CNN themes kicked in. What does CNN even stand for? There's nothing patriotic I can think of. Cable news network. That is insane. I guess they were the first, but were they? No, it was like ABC and shit. All right, bro. They keep talking. I'm not seeing enough Joe Biden or Donald Trump yet. All right, we got co-moderators. We got a woman, blonde white woman though, so Trump will. And Jake Tapper. Oof. Yes, Trump's on the left, Biden's on the right, on the on the on the screen. Um, which means my thumbnail's correct. Oh, they got muted mics going. That's so funny. That's so funny. Oh, so they just said Trump will be difficult to hear or Biden, if they're muted. No pre-written notes. Ooh. Joe Biden on the stage. Yeah, everyone. He pointed to the two people on the set. That's crazy. Trump on stage. Yeah, man, they're both alive. They're both alive. They're both kicking still. God damn, bro. Trump's walking a little slow. Ooh, he's got the unbutton. Biden's got the button. Trump's got the unbutton. Okay. The economy, top concern. Okay. Inflation has slowed. Prices remain high. Price of essentials has increased. $100 then. 120 now. Home? 30%. Okay, well the home housing's a bubble, bro. Bro, Biden. Is it his voice is a little raspy? I mean, he's spitting now. He's spitting. He's spitting. He's spitting. he's cooking. I wonder if I put on the audio.
That's why I'm
Fuck
working
it.
so hard to make sure I deal with those problems. And we're going to make sure that we reduce the price of housing. We're going to make sure we build 2 million new units. We're going to make sure we cap rents so corporate greed can't take over. The combination, what I was left with in corporate greed, is the reason why we're in this problem right now. That
Oh my God, he's
we're in
still
a
talking.
situation where if you take a look at all that was done in his administration, he didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos, literally chaos. And so we put things back together. We created, I said, those jobs. We make sure we had a situation where we brought down the price of prescription drugs, which is a major issue for many people.
Prescription
To
drugs. major
$15
issue,
for a insulin shot as opposed to $400. No senior has to pay more than $200.
Trump shook his head.
All the drugs.
What do you mean, bro?
Next year,
What?
in a situation that's making.
Yeah. Insulin. No, that's not cheaper.
That's what we're going to get done.
Thank you.
We have the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID, and when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929. By the time we finished, so we did a great job. We got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for the military, and no wars, and so many other things. Everything was rocking good. But the thing we never got the credit for, and we should have, is getting us out of that COVID mess. He created mandates that was a disaster for our country. But other than that, we had given them back a country where the stock market actually was higher than pre-COVID, and nobody thought that was even possible. The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants and bounce-back jobs, a bounce back from the COVID. He has not done a good job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
Bro, what the fuck?
He's the only one who thinks that, I think. I don't know anybody else who thinks he's the
Greatest economy. He's the only one who thinks that.
And, the fact of the matter is that we found ourselves in a situation where his economy, he rewarded the wealthy. He had the largest tax cut in American history, $2 trillion. He raised a deficit larger than any president has in any one term. He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who's lost more jobs than he had when he began.
Okay, well, that's COVID.
The idea that he did something that was significant. And the military, when he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that.
That's true.
When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
President Trump, I want to follow up if I can.
Am I allowed to respond to him?
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S.
My keyboard.
How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down, and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce-back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. No, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. And then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing, and they don't know what they were doing. It was probably the worst administration in history. There's never been. And as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President Trump, over the last 8 years, under both of your administrations.
What the? Okay, I think this. I think it could be, but I'm not gonna count it. Tax cut shit. This is a good question. I'm just muting it just in case I can't do this.
Tax cuts spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID.
Bro,
And
what
even
the fuck
after
is he
COVID, it
talking
was so
about, bro?
strong.
Like, actually, what the fuck is he talking about?
Country, but we spurred that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We took in more revenue with much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was going like never before, and we were ready to start paying down debt. We were ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID. We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with.
Man's
We
giving him a
gave him
crazy
something
look right
that-
now.
Remember, more people died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of it, something which a lot of people don't like to talk about. But he had far more people dying in his administration. He did the mandate, which is a disaster, mandating it. The vaccine went out. He did a mandate on the vaccine, which is the thing that people most objected to about the vaccine.
Wait, no,
And he
this is
did a
for
very
sure off
poor
topic.
job, just a very poor job. And I will tell
This is
you,
about tax
not only
cuts.
poor there, but throughout the entire world, we're no longer respected as a country. They don't respect our leadership. They don't respect the United States anymore. We're like a third world nation between weaponization of his election, trying to go after
What
his
is he
political
talking
opponent.
about?
All of the things he's done, we've become like a third world nation, and it's a shame. The damage he's done to our country, and I'd love to ask him,
Oh
and
my
will,
God,
why
bro.
he allowed millions of people to come in here from prisons, jails, and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
What the fuck is he
President Trump,
talking
we will
about?
get to immigration later in this block. President
What is he
Biden,
talking about?
I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this
What is he
question
talking
about
about?
the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two,
He allowed
that
millions of
$2
people-
trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is
I had
fix
to
the
make
tax
sure.
system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million, billion dollars, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do,
He's getting there.
child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our health care system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
Damn.
Because all of these people
Damn.
are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social Security.
Okay,
They're
well,
going to
that's-
destroy Social Security.
that's
This man
bad.
is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security.
What the fuck
There's
is he talking
millions and
about?
Millions of people coming in. They're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame. What's happened to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people. They cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. They no longer respect it. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people. What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has
I
done
got a lot of foreign
is
friends.
absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
Okay, Roe v.
This
Wade.
morning, the court ruled on yet another abortion case.
All right, Idaho, emergency abortions. Keep going. Roe v. Wade, abortion in the states, deads. Feds can still abortion bills. Would you block
First of all, the
abortion
Supreme Court
medication?
just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives. Everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court. And
Everyone wanted it back?
in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so, they started talking about how many weeks and how many this, getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world, the most respected,
Throughout the world?
brought back to the states. I did that. Now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio, it was a decision that was
This is the dumbest motherfucker of all time.
Than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people. Like
Wrong.
Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions. I am a person that believes.
Okay.
And frankly, I think it's important to believe in the
At least he's a little progressive about it. Oh shit, it's been muted.
with other things. You got to get
Been
elected.
muted.
The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth, if you look at the former governor of Virginia, he was willing to do this. He said, we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby. What happened is we brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
Thank you. President Biden?
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided. Supported Roe. And that's this idea that they're all against it is just ridiculous. And this is the guy who says the state should be able to have it. We're in a state where in 6 weeks, you don't even know whether you're pregnant or not, but you cannot see a doctor and have him decide on what your circumstances are when
Okay,
you need
Biden.
help.
Come on,
The
Biden.
idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states. Let each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young
extreme.
women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in. They talk about that, but here's the deal: there's a lot of young women who are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters. It's just ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it. And they try to arrest them when they cross state lines.
Thank you.
There have been many young women murdered by the same people he allows to come across our border. We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world, considered the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. And he opened it
Yo,
up.
what's
and
more
these killers
dangerous,
are
the
coming
border
into our
or
country,
Gaza?
And they are raping and killing women. And it's a terrible thing. As far as the abortion is concerned, it is now back with the states. The states are voting. In many cases, it's frankly a very liberal decision. In many cases, it's the opposite. But they're voting, and it's bringing it back to the vote of the people, which is what everybody wanted, including the founders, if they knew about this issue, which, frankly, they didn't. But they would have. Everybody wanted brought back. Ronald Reagan wanted it brought back. He wasn't able to get it. Everybody.
Reagan's
wanted it
not a
brought
good
back,
guy,
and
bro. I mean, I
many
get he's a.
presidents had tried to get it back.
I get that he's trying to appeal to old Republicans, but bringing up Reagan, like this is like the 3rd time he's brought it up.
I'll let you do that. This is the same topic. 7 states
Seven
have
states.
no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain an abortion. Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I supported Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. The first time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman and the state. The idea that the politicians, that the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician should be making that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run.
Good point.
That's what you're going to do.
Good
and
point.
if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
So that means he can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states,
That's not what
Democrat
that
run,
means.
take it after
That's
birth.
not what that
Again, the
means.
governor from Virginia put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it. So he's willing to, as we say, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month and kill the baby. Nobody wants that to happen.
No, nobody wants that to fucking happen because it doesn't fucking happen, idiot, dumbass.
Not true. The Roe v. Wade does not provide for that. That's not the circumstance. Only if a woman's life is in danger, she's going to die. That's the only circumstance in which that can happen. But we are not for late-term abortion, period. Period, period.
Under Roe v. Wade, you have late-term abortion. You can do whatever you want, depending on the state. You can do whatever you want. We don't think that's a good thing. We think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51
Yeah.
years, constitutional scholarship said it.
We think the Democrats are the radicals. That's the radicals to the left, reactionaries to the right. The fuck you talking about, dude?
Credit for taking it away. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? In fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected, and the MAGA Republicans control the Congress, and they pass a universal ban on abortion, period, across the board at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill? I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
Thank you.
Let's turn now to the issue of immigration and border security. President Biden, a record number of migrants have illegally crossed the southern border on your watch. Overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns. Given that, why should voters trust you to solve this crisis?
Because we worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement that not only changed all of that, it made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. By the way, the Border Patrol endorsed my position.
Wait, really?
In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation where when he was president, he was separating babies from their mothers, putting them in cages.
I forgot about
making
that.
sure the families were separated. That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
It's hard to
President
check
Trump?
this because he doesn't
I
make a
don't know
point
what he
sometimes.
said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look, we had the safest border in the history of our country. The border, all he had to do was leave it. All he had to do was leave it. He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest number of terrorists
oh my
coming into our
God.
country right now. All terrorists, all over the world, not just in South America, all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere. All over the world, they're pouring in. And this guy just left it open. And he didn't need legislation because I didn't have legislation. I said, close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who is great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, but they endorsed me for president. Brandon, just speak to him. But look, we had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it. And people are dying all over the place. including
Bleeding
the people that
Kansas? Are we
come
fucking
out-
serious here?
President Trump. President Biden?
The only terrorist who's done anything crossing the border is one who came along and killed three, under his administration, killed an Al-Qaeda person come in his administration, killed 3 American soldiers.
Biden, what are you
Killed 3
doing?
American soldiers. That's the only terrorist that's there. I'm not saying that no terrorist ever got through, but the idea they're emptying their prisons, we're welcoming these people, that's simply not true. There's no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating, he's lying.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you've said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades? And if so, how will you do it?
Just 1 second. He said we killed 3 people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani.
That's not what he
The 2
said.
Biggest terrorists anywhere in the world.
That's not
That
what
had
he
a huge
said.
Impact on everything.
That's
just
not what
border,
he
on
said. He
everything.
said that a terrorist
He's
came
the
into
one that
America and
people
killed 3
with a bad
soldiers.
border, including hundreds of thousands of people dying and also killing our citizens when they come in. We are living right now
Bro,
in a
it's
rat's
the
nest.
most off
They're
topic
killing
you
our
can
people
possibly
in New
be.
York, in California, in every
Bro, I love how they
state in
updated the
union,
question,
because
bro.
we don't have borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, people are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing
We
our
call it
citizens
migrant
at a level that
crime.
we've never
You
seen
know why
before.
we do
And
that?
you're reading
What a
it,
witty
like these
name.
three
What a
incredible
witty
young
name we
girls
came up
over the
with there.
last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and they just had the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This is horrible what's taken place. What's taken
Question:
place
Does
in
Trump
our
intend to
country,
deport every
we're literally
undocumented immigrant?
an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the
What the
borders.
fuck is
Nobody's
he
ever seen
talking
anything
about,
like
bro?
it. And we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast because they're going to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the
Bro,
military.
most
at
veterans
all.
are dying by
And he
suicide
doesn't
right
care
now.
about our veterans.
They're not on
Nobody
the
been
street.
worse.
I mean, they
had
are,
the
but
highest
they're not.
approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned.
Damn, bro.
We had by far the highest. And
Yo,
now
all the
it's
things
down
I
less
like,
than
Biden
half
doesn't like.
because he's done all
What's that
these
about?
great things that we did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by
Thank you,
allowing
President Trump.
all of these
Thank you,
people to come
President
in.
Trump.
And
President
it's a
Biden?
very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said
Okay,
is a lie.
Mike stopped working there.
Every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance, and their families have it.
My
Their
granddad,
families have it
Vietnam
because what
veteran,
happened,
got hearing aids for the first time in his life, covered by the VA.
group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living right next to one of those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma.
fine, it's not bad.
I was recently
There's a little delay.
in France for D-Day, and I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump?
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up, and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of ourselves than we have. To think that I would, in
Okay,
front
I
of
just skipped
generals
forward
and
on all
others,
those.
say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence
start muting.
agents are made up, just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking. It's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general standing to your side who was on your staff who said you said it, period. That's number one. And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. And they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for
I don't
veterans
know what he's
than
talking
ever
about.
before. in
I was
history.
not paying attention.
All right, thank you so much.
Let's move to the topic of foreign policy. I want to begin with Russia's war against Ukraine, which is now
Russia
in
and
its third
Ukraine.
year. Former President Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he'll only end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. They think he's the worst
What is he
commander-in-chief,
talking about?
if that's what you call him.
There's
that
fucking
we've ever had. They
generalizations
can't
all over
stand
the
him.
place.
So
bro.
let's get that straight. And they like me more than just about any of them. and that's based on every single bit of information. As far as Russia and Ukraine, if we had a real president, the president that knew, that was respected by Putin, he would have never invaded Ukraine. A lot of people are dead right now, much more than people know. You know,
What
they
the
talk about
fuck
numbers.
is he
You can
talking
double
about,
those
bro?
numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it. In fact, I think he encouraged Russia from going in. I'll tell you what happened. He was so bad with Afghanistan. It was such a horrible embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, that when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence, that he should have fired those generals, like I fired the one that you mentioned, and so he's got no love lost, but he should have fired those generals. No general got fired for the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan, where we left billions of dollars of equipment behind. We lost 13 beautiful soldiers, and
Okay, that's a good
38
point.
soldiers were obliterated. And by the way, we left people behind, too. We left American citizens
We did.
behind.
It was bad.
When
It was
Putin
sloppy.
saw that, he said, you know what? I think we're going to go in and maybe take this was his dream. I talked to him about it, his dream. The difference is he never would have invaded.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to
Never.
Putin about his
Just
dream.
like Israel would have never been invaded in a million years by Hamas. You know why? Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them. They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything. No money for terror. That's why you had
This
no
guy might
terror
actually be
at
the
all
dumbest man of all time.
during my administration. This place, the whole world is blowing
This
up
guy
under him.
might be the
President Biden.
dumbest man of all
Never
time.
heard so much malarkey in my whole life. Look, the fact
Thanks,
of the matter
Biden.
is that
Malarkey.
we're in a situation where, let's take
Malarkey.
the last point first. Iran attacked American troops, caused brain damage for a number of these troops, and he did nothing about it recently
That is
when he was
true.
president. There they attacked. He said they're just having headaches. That's all it is. He didn't do a thing when the attack took place, number one. Number two, we got over 100,000 Americans and others out of Afghanistan.
That is true. He did get a lot of people out. He left a lot of people
Number
behind.
three,
Left.
we found
got
ourselves
a
in
lot
a
of people out.
situation where, if you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine, this guy told Trump, do whatever you want, and do whatever you want, and that's exactly what Trump did.
But why is Trump looking like that?
Encourage him, do whatever you want, and he went in. And listen to what he said when he went in. He was going to take Kyiv in 5 days. Remember, because it's part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish, Kyiv. And he, in fact, didn't do it at all. He wasn't able to get it done, and they've lost they've lost thousands and thousands of troops.
What is Biden talking?
500,000 troops.
President Trump, if
I
I
never
come back
said
to you
that.
for 1 minute, I just want to go back to my original question, which is,
Guys,
are
I never
Putin's
said that. That
terms
bad thing.
acceptable
If
to
you don't agree, I
keeping
never
the
said
No,
that.
they're
territory
not
in Ukraine?
acceptable. No, they're not acceptable. But look, this is a
He
war
cut
that
off
never should have
the
started.
host,
If we had a leader in
hostess.
this war, he led everybody along. He's given $200 billion now or more to Ukraine. He's given $200 billion. That's a lot of money. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Every time that Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest
In
salesman
weapons.
ever. And I'm not knocking him. I'm not knocking anything. I'm only saying the money that we're spending on this war, and we shouldn't be spending, it should have never happened. I will have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled.
Before I
People
take
being
office, I'm
killed
gonna have it
so
settled?
needlessly, so stupidly, and I will get it settled, and I'll get it settled fast before I take office.
That's not how that
You have
works.
a minute.
The fact is that Putin is a war criminal. He's killed thousands and thousands of people. And he has made one thing clear.
You
He
never
wants
said that?
to
All right, man.
reestablish what was part of the Soviet Empire.
He's not making a whole
Not
lot of
just a
sense
piece.
otherwise,
He
though.
wants all of Ukraine. That's what he wants. And then you think he'll stop there? Do you think he'll stop when if he takes Ukraine? What do you think happens to Poland? What do you think of Belarus? What do you think happens to those NATO countries? And so if you want a war,
Bro, his version of settling the war is gonna be fucking, I don't even know. Yeah, Russia, you can have half of Ukraine and rebuild your army. Yeah, man.
give them the weapons, not the money at this point. And our NATO allies have produced as much funding for Ukraine as we have. That's why we're strong.
Thank you. Moving on to the Middle East. In October, Hamas attacked Israel,
Okay.
killing more than 1,000 people.
Here's where the
and
bad
taking
takes are gonna
hundreds of hostages. Among those held and thought to still be alive are 5 Americans. Israel's response has killed thousands of Palestinians and created a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. President Biden, you've put forward a proposal to resolve this conflict, but so far Hamas has not released the remaining hostages, and Israel is continuing
Trump
its
2024.
military
All right,
offensive
buddy.
in Gaza.
All right, buddy.
So what additional leverage will you use to get Hamas and Israel to end the war? You have 2 minutes.
Number one, everyone from the United Nations Security Council straight through to the G7 to the Israelis and Netanyahu himself have endorsed the plan I put forward. Which has 3 stages to it. The first stage is trade the hostages for
Get ready for the next
a
question.
ceasefire.
All right.
Second phase is a ceasefire with additional conditions. The third phase is the end of the war. The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas. Number one, they're the only ones standing out. We're still pushing hard to get them to accept. In the meantime, what's happened in Israel? We're finding that the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't
being
work very
controlled
well
by
in populated
Obama.
areas.
Okay,
They
buddy.
kill a lot of innocent people.
Hey, sure, I'd still vote
Providing
for him.
Israel with all the weapons they need and when they need them. And by the way, I'm the guy that organized the world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack.
Thank you for getting
on
that.
Israel.
Like,
no one
if
was hurt.
Biden ran
No
on being
one
controlled by
Israel-
Obama, if Biden ran being controlled by Obama, he would win. Like, he's just like, hey, Obama's going to make most of the decisions. And he would still win.
Hamas cannot be
Bro.
allowed to be continued. We continue to send our experts and our intelligence people as to how they can get Hamas like we did bin Laden. You don't have to do it. And by the way, they've been greatly weakened, Hamas. Greatly weakened, and they should be.
Hey, yeah, man, they've been greatly weakened by being bombed to shit. Every Gazan, which, Hamas, 100% Gazan. And when you just bomb every Gazan, they're going to get weakened.
Have spent $100 billion or maybe more than that, less than us. Why doesn't he call them and say, you got to put up your money like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said Trump did the most incredible job I've ever seen. They wouldn't have any. They were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was.
People are saying I'm just the best.
He didn't do that. He's getting all. You got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask them. As far as Israel and Hamas, Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one that wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
President Biden, you have a minute.
Trump was cooking
I've
a
heard so much foolishness. This is a guy who wants to get out of NATO. You're going to stay in NATO?
Yeah,
He's going to pull out of NATO. The idea that we
it's
have
a long shot.
our
It's
strength
a long
lies
shot.
in
They'll
our
agree.
alliances as well. It may be a big ocean, but we're ever able to avoid a war in Europe, a major war in Europe? What happens if, in fact, you have Putin continue to go into NATO? We have an Article 5 agreement. Attack on one is attack on all. You want to start the nuclear war he keeps talking about, go ahead. Let Putin go in and control Ukraine and then move on to Poland and other places. See what happens then. He has no idea what the hell he's talking about. And by the way, I got
Trump
50
is
other nations
not
around the
cooking,
world
bro.
to support
Bro,
Ukraine,
Biden's winning.
including Japan and South Korea, because they understand that this kind of dislocation has a serious threat
Trump
to the
is
whole
not
world.
cooking, bro.
No major war in Europe has ever been able to be contained just to Europe.
President Trump, just to follow up, would you support the
Trump's entire
creation
strategy
of
is just
an independent
lying, bro.
Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region?
I'd have to see, but before we do that, the problem we have is that we spend all the money. So they kill us on trade. I made great trade deals with the European nations.
I made great trade.
Because if you add them up, they're about the same size economically. Their economy is about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, they don't want anything that we have. But we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture.
Yeah, man.
But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay.
We
And
take
the
their
only reason
agriculture.
that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this, I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question. Would you
Bro,
guard us against Russia?
And
At
being
a very
anti-NATO
simple
is
reading of the
insane
28
behavior.
states
It's
at
insane.
that
Why would you
time,
be
or
anti-NATO?
nations at that time? And they said, no, if you don't pay, I won't do that. And you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in the next day and the next months. But now we're in the same position. We're paying everybody's bills.
Let's turn to the issue of democracy. Former President Trump, I want to ask you about January 6, 2021. After you rallied your supporters that day, some of them stormed the Capitol to stop the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral votes. As president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution. What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world. All over the world, we were respected. And then he comes in, and we're now laughed at. We're like a bunch of stupid people. What happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't beat him fair and square.
You have 80 seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, they say, but she's saying, oh, no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this. Because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor of, in writing, by the way, the mayor, in writing, turned it down, the mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. They're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it, too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some
It had aura. What can I say? It had aura. No one's ever said it's been more auraful than that.
She turned it down.
No one's ever had more aura than me.
The same day, she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up on Capitol Hill.
He did. He did.
I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours. 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll now forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no. But he went to every single court in the nation. I don't know how many cases, scores of cases.
Time out for a minute.
Court.
You got timed out.
They said, no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done. He did do a damn thing, and these people should be in jail, and they should be the ones that are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out. And now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that it could be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
What they've done to some people that are so innocent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, how you've destroyed the lives of so many people. When they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down many other cities, you go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that. They saw them coming, and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing. The Unselect Committee, which is basically two horrible Republicans that are all gone now out of office, and Democrats, all Democrats, they destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right. And they deleted and destroyed all of the information. They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
The only person on this stage is a
Okay, man, maybe
convicted
just don't be
felon
wrong.
that I'm looking at right now. And the fact of the matter is, what he's telling you is simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill. And all those people, every one of those who were convicted, deserves to be convicted. The idea that they didn't kill somebody, just went in and broke down doors,
Damn, bro.
broke the windows,
How long is this supposed to
occupied
go?
offices, turned over desks, turned them over statues. The idea that those people are patriots, come on. When I asked him the first two debates we had, first time around, I said, will you denounce the Proud Boys? He said, no, I'll tell them to stand by. The idea he's refusing, will you denounce these guys? Will you denounce the people we're talking about now? Will you denounce the people who attacked that Capitol? What are you going to do?
I'm going to give you a minute, President Trump, for a follow-up
10-second
question I
timeout.
have. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the Select Committee on January 6th going to jail. Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all
what?
of the things that he's done. He's
What-
done
what
horrible things. All of the death caused at the border. Telling
can't charge
the
a president for
Ukrainian
that.
people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. You want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
The idea that I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie, number one. Number two, the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history. has spoken.
Trump is talking wild.
Number three, the crimes that you are still charged with. And think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties?
I've been watching The Boys season 1 recently because season 4 is out. I got it. And I'm like, man, I'm not really seeing Trump and Homelander. I am seeing Trump and Homelander right now on my screen, bro. Yeah, we're gonna seek retribution against my political opponents.
It was a case that was started and moved. They moved a high-ranking official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan DA's office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. But when they found out about these cases, you know what they did? My poll numbers went up, way up. You know that because you're reporting it. And we took in more money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history of any campaign. I don't think any campaign has ever taken. Hundreds of millions of dollars came pouring in because the public knows it's a scam.
Didn't the Biden
It's a
campaign
guy
raise
that's
like
after his
$600 million in
political
one
opponent 'cause
night?
He can't win fair and square.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, quote, Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans are determined to destroy American democracy. Do you believe that the tens of millions of Americans who are likely to vote for President Trump will be voting
That's right.
against
We're doing
American
snaps
democracy?
on stream.
The more they know about what he's done, yes. The more they know about what he's done. And there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases down the road coming around.
He does actually.
He's got a whole range of issues he has to face. I don't know what the juries will do, but I do know he has a real problem. And so the fact that, could you ever think you
Trump
heard any
is so
president
cringe.
say that I'm going to seek retribution? Do you ever hear any president say that I thought Hitler had some good ideas. What got me involved to run in the first place after my son had died, I decided.
Damn it,
Iraq,
dude. One of my
because of
extra
Iraq,
questions got
I
proven
said I
right.
wasn't gonna run
Trump
again
said something racist.
until I saw what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Oh, my
People coming out of the woods carrying swastikas on torches,
ball.
and singing the same anti-Semitic bile they sang when back in Germany. And the young woman got killed. I spoke to the mother, and they asked him. They said, "What do you think of those people? The people the ones who got killed, the one who tried to stop it, and the ones," he said, "I think they're fine people on both sides." What
He
American
didn't say
president
that.
would ever say?
He didn't.
Nazis coming out of fields carrying torches, singing,
Biden
saying
didn't say
anti-Semitic
that.
bile, carrying swastikas. We're fine people. This is the guy who says Hitler's done some good things. I'd like to know what they are.
Did he say
Things
that?
Hitler's done, that's what he said. This guy has no sense of American democracy.
President Trump.
Jake, both of you know that story has been totally wiped out. Because when you see the sentence, it said 100% exoneration on that. So he just keeps it going. He says he ran because of Charlottesville. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his last chance. He's not equipped to be president. You know it, and I know it. It's ridiculous. We have a debate. We're trying to justify his presidency. His presidency, he's without question the worst president, the worst presidency in the history of our country.
This
We
isn't going to
shouldn't be
sway
having a
anyone.
debate about it. There's nothing to debate. He made up the Charlottesville story, and you'll see it's debunked all over the place. Every anchor every reasonable anchor has debunked it. And just the other day, it came out where it was fully debunked. It's a nonsense story. He knows that, and he didn't run because of Charlottesville. He used that as an excuse to run.
President Biden.
And debunked. It happened. All you have to do is listen to what was said at the time. And the idea that somehow that's the only reason I ran. I ran because I was worried a guy like this guy could get elected. If he thought they were good people coming out of that forest, carrying those woods, carrying those torches, then he didn't deserve to be president. Didn't deserve to be president at all. And the idea that he's talking about all this being fabricated, we saw with our own eyes. We saw what happened on January 6th. We saw the people breaking through the windows. We saw people occupying his own vice president. Look, there's a reason why 40 of his 44 top cabinet officers refused to endorse him this time. His vice president hasn't endorsed him this time. So why?
That is
Why?
true.
They know him well. They serve with him. Why are
That's
they not
true. That's a
endorsing
good
him?
point, Biden.
Thank you, President Biden. We're going to be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate.
Ad break. I'm hungry. Fuck. Always hungry. This shit. It's not gonna sway anyone. Okay, we're done. We're done. Istanbul is the new cool. Go Turkey TURKIYE.com. That's just not how you spell the new name, though, right? Like, Turkey. Yeah, this is cooked. This shit's cooked. All right. Oh, so you gotta spend bids to get more bids. Okay, okay. Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Triple Whopper. Have it your way, BK. Have it your way, you rule. Who spent $60 on this? Give me this shit. Boom. I should probably stop because I don't want a Burger King gift card. We're back. We are back. I'm gonna start a new one. Oh shit, I can't. Damn. Wait, I can't. We. This shit's boring as hell. I'm gonna stop. Have a good day.